Jake and the Bear in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Courage rewarded. That fall, the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, USA, were ablaze with golden autumn leaves under a clear blue sky. Jake, a young man passionate about exploring nature, decided to spend his vacation conquering the trails amidst the rugged wilderness. He packed his backpack with a tent, food, and a camera to capture his journey. On the morning of the second day, as he traversed the steep rocky path, Jake heard faint groans echoing from below. Peering into the ravine, he spotted a brown bear clinging to the edge of a cliff, with a rushing stream far below. The bear was exhausted, its claws gripping the rock desperately, its body trembling on the verge of falling. Without hesitation, Jake pulled a rope from his backpack and tied it securely to a nearby tree. He stepped carefully to the cliff's edge, balancing with a branch. The bear looked up, its eyes filled with panic, yet pleading for help. "Don't be afraid, I'll help you," Jake said softly. He tied the rope around his waist and tossed the other end down. The bear grabbed it with its claws, and Jake pulled with all his strength, the rope digging into his waist. Halfway up, he reached out to grasp the bear's paw, giving it extra support. After a struggle, the bear reached safety, collapsing and panting heavily. The bear gazed at Jake without aggression, letting out a soft growl as if in thanks. Jake stepped back, giving it space to recover. In an odd moment, the bear nudged Jake's hand with its nose, its thick fur brushing his skin. After a few minutes, it lumbered off, pausing once to glance back before vanishing into the trees. 3 days later, Jake continued his journey through dense forests and cool streams. At night, he pitched his tent by a creek, lit a fire, and ate a simple meal of bread and canned meat. Around midnight, wolf howls pierced the silence. Jake woke, stoked the fire, but the small flame couldn't deter them. Snapping branches and glowing eyes signaled the wolves closing in. Under the moonlight, 7 gray wolves emerged, teeth bared, growling. Jake backed against a rock, clutching a stick, knowing he was outmatched. The wolves circled, poised to strike. Suddenly, a roar thundered from the forest. The brown bear Jake had saved appeared, standing tall like a guardian, facing the wolves fearlessly. The wolves snarled, but the bear slammed its paws onto the ground, shaking the earth. One wolf lunged, only to be swatted away by a mighty paw. Its yelp scattered the pack, the fire flared with the wind, amplifying their fear, and the wolves fled into the night. The bear stood watch until they were gone. Jake approached, overcome with gratitude. The bear turned, growling softly as if to reassure him. Kneeling, Jake placed a hand on its head and whispered, "Thank you. I owe you my life." The bear dipped its head, then retreated into the forest, melting into the darkness. Jake sat by the fire, heart pounding, reflecting on his narrow escape. The next morning, Jake packed up and descended the mountain, stopping at a small town at its base. He shared his tale with the locals, who marveled, believing it was nature's reward for kindness. An old man murmured, "Your kindness touched the soul of the mountains." Jake smiled, feeling a bond with the bear. An unexpected friend who taught him that courage and compassion are always rewarded, even in the wild.
Welcome to Wild Perils.